All right. So, welcome to Authentic Points of View. It's me, Danielle, your host as always. So, I'm going to let people join because this is actually a special episode. It's not my typical episode that I do with a guest. So, I told everybody that you can either email me the questions, which I will check my email right now. I didn't see any earlier. Or you can ask me live in the comments. Okay. So if you have a question, please feel free to ask me. I will wait a couple minutes and then I will start talking. I have a few things to say. All right. So when I started Authentic Points of View, June of 2022, it was because of a lot of reasons. So one, I wanted to make a difference and help people. Two, I wanted people to know that they're not alone and that somebody somewhere is going through the same thing as you. Okay. So no matter from like when I talk to people like in Australia, I had something in common with them. When I talked to someone in, did he live in Panama? Something like that. No matter where the person lived, I had something in common with them. So I think that's amazing. You know, so many people are going through grief and trauma and stuff like that, or just all kinds of things, and maybe illness, or maybe they just moved, maybe they got divorced, whatever. And so we all have something that can help somebody else by sharing our story. Okay. So that was another reason. Another reason is because where I lived for a while, people are, I don't want to say judgmental, but can be judgmental. So the other reason why I wanted to do it was because I didn't want people to just assume things, right? Which people are humans, so they might do that anyway. But I wanted to kind of open up people's eyes to different stories and backgrounds and different things that, people have been through. And I really think that we did that. So I have been so honored and happy to do this show. I started a new podcast in June of this year. So a lot has been going on, right? And a lot has changed in my life since then. So the new podcast is called Turning Trauma to Triumph. And it is kind of obvious what it's about, but it's also about grief as well. So again, same kind of premise. So whatever you're going through, you're not alone. We talk to so many awesome experts, people that have been through trauma and have navigated it and have helped themselves and have healed. And now they help other people, like so many amazing stories. And grief is not just for like a loss of a person, right? So grief is for a loss of a job, divorce, a breakup, loss of a pet. If you like relocate, I probably already said that. Just so many things you can grieve over. And so I've grieved over a lot of things. And so that means a lot to me too. So just because trauma's in the name, it's not just about trauma. It's about grief, trauma, healing, navigating life, and helping others. And for the audience of either show or whatever, I just want to help. Okay. And I don't claim to be the most educated expert person in the world on all the topics or whatever I talk about. Okay. I don't. I'm not the most expert educated person, but life gives us experience. And so if we learn from our mistakes, okay, if we learn from our mistakes, if we learn from things that we have been through or things that our friends or family have been through, then we can implement those things that we have learned and help ourselves and help others. Right. So my journey has been way different. Like when I say way different, over the last year and a half, so many things have changed. So I was doing photography. I had a studio. I think I closed it like at the beginning of last year. So 2022. And I was turning 40 last year. So my boyfriend encouraged me to do the things that I've always wanted to do and to believe in myself. So I did. Right. So when I closed the studio, I grieved over that. I did. Because I got to the point where I didn't find the passion in it anymore. And I was just like, it was costing me so much money to keep the studio open. And with me working as a nurse 3 days a week, plus on call, plus my kids or whatever, and all the stuff, it's like, how could I balance it all? So I was working every day of the week, and the money I was making from photography wasn't enough to keep my studio open. So the smartest thing to do was to shut it down because there were so many issues with the building and it was becoming not safe and they weren't fixing the problems. So that's what I did. And it was hard. And not only did I just close down the studio, I just got to the point where I was like, nope, I just don't want to do photography anymore. So when I sold my Sony A7 III, it was like I was parting with something. I don't even know. I'm not going to say a limb because it's definitely not that, but like a part of me. And it made me sad. And that happens sometimes, So my goal is to not have to work as a nurse all the time. Okay. That's literally my goal. And it's not because I don't love being a nurse. I do. I love my patients. And people will joke and say, Christina, if you're watching this, she would say, you always make your patients your best friend. And so that's not what she sounds like, but she would say something in those words. And I love my patients. Okay. But I'm getting older. I'm 41, and kudos to the amazing, strong nurses that are still 60s, 70s and doing amazing and working 3, 4, 12s and all this stuff. You are rock stars. I don't know how you do it, but you're amazing. Okay. Because that job is so mentally, it's a lot. It's a lot physically, it's a lot mentally, and my body's hurting like every day. So it's just I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I want to transition into helping people in different ways. And again, I love being a nurse, and I've done it for 9.5 years. And my point is, when I am not actively a nurse all the time, even if I'm PRN somewhere, which means like as needed, so I could work like once or twice a month, it will make me sad. And I will kind of like have to grieve through that because it is something that has been a part of me for almost a decade. And at that point, it will be a decade because, you know, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. So it's really things that we go through, we have to learn. And so I wanted to become, so last year I became a life coach and got certified because I wanted to help people through their trauma and grief. And so with my life experiences, with my certifications, with being a nurse, like that helps a lot. And it's just the whole thing together, like the whole shebang helps me help myself and others. So I can feel when it's too much for me. Like if I am getting to the point where maybe I'm getting like a little anxious or my heart rate is going up or I just don't feel right. And like, I'm like, oh, I need to take a breather. I know how, if I'm allowed, if I can, if it's safe for me to walk away. Sometimes it's not. If my patient is not doing well, I'm not going to walk away from them. But if it's safe to walk away, I will go into the bathroom. I will count backwards. I will breathe, deep breaths, and I will calm myself down. And I will talk very calmly. And I will just do. And then go back to my business. So I have learned certain things for me and tools and techniques, and there's way more than that, that helps and that I actually literally have to use and implement. Okay. I have gone in a closet before. I've stepped away around a corner, and sometimes you just get overstimulated. If you can safely do that, then do it, right? So for your mental health and your well-being, for goodness sake, if you can, and that helps you, do it. So that being said, I last year, go back, I started comedy. What? So exciting. So I did stand-up comedy and I took classes at the Laugh Lab. Lace Larrabee is amazing. And shout out to her. She's doing her thing. She also has a podcast. And she's had that for years. And her co-hosts are hilarious. But anyway, so she's doing great. She was on AGT and she hosts the AGT live in Las Vegas, like every few weeks, like they rotate. And I'm so proud of her. She's amazing. Great woman. And she made a big difference in the Atlanta area when it comes to comedy and females. She has she has female only, but then she also has like co-ed ones. Like, you know, my class was combined. So we had a few men and mostly women. But yeah, so that really taught me what to do, as in standing on a stage and not throwing up and freaking out. And I literally would freak out. I'm talking about like, I can't even explain it. Let's just say graduation night that I was crying on the side, like the wing, which we didn't have a wing. There's like no real curtain stage. So people could still see me crying. Okay. Hysterically. Like, I don't want to do it. I just can't do it. Crying. And so Hillary was there that night. She was amazing and she calmed me down, and I went up and I did great and I killed it. Woo! So it's all good. But that experience taught me a lot. So I literally was scared to do public speaking, so much so that I failed speech class in high school, and I just refused to go up. I would write my speeches down. Doesn't matter. Here you go. There it is. Nope. Doesn't work like that. You have to say it out loud. So I did not want to say it out loud. So I did not. So I failed. And then the next year in high school, since it's a requirement, I had to take it again. So that was like really silly of me. And the next year was my senior year. My senior year was rough. And I'm writing that in my book, by the way, which I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So so I had to take it again, and then I didn't have a choice but to pass because I needed to graduate. So I did. Then in college, I took it again. And because they made me for some reason for nursing, I guess. And then I didn't want to do it. And I remember like I really wouldn't go up. I was scared. And I'm like almost like vomiting scared. And then my brother passed away. And I gave like the eulogy. My dad also spoke as well at my brother's funeral, and in front of so many people. He was so loved that there were people literally standing on the sides, standing in the back, around the back of the corner. You couldn't even see anything. I mean, there were so many people. And I wrote it, like try to write the night before, and I just couldn't because my brother died tragically. You know, he was 26 and I was 27. And how do you prepare for that? You really don't. So I remember that I stood in front of all these people, and some of them probably weren't too fond of me. Not to be, I'm just being honest. I'm always transparent because I would like kick them out of the house sometimes, or, you know, be annoying. I don't know. And so, cause I was the big sister, and I just stood there and like, I was nervous and upset and sad, but I just started telling jokes, like, and saying like, you know, hey, I know I kicked some of y'all out of the house or something like that, just silly stuff, and started talking about him and all this stuff and said very nice things. So I went back to class and I told her, I talked in front of people, and she was like, wow, that proves that you can do it. Right. So the whole point of that story is that I could do it the whole entire time. And unfortunately, something so tragic kind of forced me uncomfortably to do that. Right. So I got put in that position, which is fine. And I'm very blessed and thankful that I did speak at his funeral now. But I was like, it was like I didn't have a choice. So I just sucked it up and like, bam, did it. Right. So a lot of times in life, that's what we need to do. And it's hard. It's hard in the moment to sometimes you just don't even think and you just do. But sometimes it's very hard to adjust to things, especially when tragedies happen and trauma and all this stuff. But always know that it's inside you, and you can do it, and you can get through anything. No matter what it is, you can get through it. Okay. So at that point, I graduated. But when my brother passed, I wanted to quit college. I talk about that all the time. And I just became different version of myself, a version that I didn't really want to be or even notice that I was at the time. But getting back to the last year. So I started stand-up comedy, and it was fantastic. And I see people are watching, you can ask me questions if you would like inside the comments. I didn't see any emails with questions, so you can comment if you would like to ask me a question. I will answer it live. Okay. So anyway, so I did this stand-up comedy for a while, and I was still working, of course, as a nurse. And I was like, I want to start a show. Well, my boyfriend was like, a podcast is perfect for you because you talk a lot. Oh, maybe he didn't say those exact words, but I do talk a lot. So therefore, bam, authentic points of view happened. And that is a long story just to get back to that point. And then after that, a couple months later, I started, and I was a travel nurse as well. So, was hopping jobs and changing jobs and all that stuff. But just local travel nurse. But my daughter was in activities and all these things and just a lot going on. But I really loved the podcast. And then it got to the point where I just couldn't do everything at the same time because I was doing comedy 3 times a week and I was trying to do the podcast and work and everything. So I kind of stepped off the comedy thing for a while. I took a sitcom writing class through also Lace's school stuff. And it was awesome. So I wrote a sitcom pilot as well. It's called Drama for the Mamas. And I love it. And eventually I am going to turn it into something, but I just don't have time. But it's still there and I still have a lot of ideas for it and I'm really excited about it. So I got to the point where I was interviewing people and then one of them was like, I told him my story off air and he said, have you ever thought about being a life coach? I was like, yeah, I would love to be one. And so I told him I wrapped the intro of Authentic Points of View and he said, oh, what about a rapping life coach? So that's kind of funny, but I ended up getting certified and becoming a life coach. So last year, right before my 40th and after my 40th, I did so many amazing things and just checked them off the list. And then this year I was on a game show. So cool. Just happened just a couple months ago. And just like started a new podcast as well. And just continue to keep going and growing. And that's what life is about. So I have a grief group coaching thing program coming up. Okay. So it starts November the 5th, I believe. It's on a Sunday. Is that next Sunday? No, November 6th, I believe. So November the 6th. And it is weekly for 12 weeks. So I'm really excited about that. So if you want to any information, get a free consultation for an hour. And we call it a discovery call. And you can talk to me and see if I'm a good fit for you. And so I didn't know what kind of life coach I wanted to be. And then my brother, the stuff kept coming up. And I was like, you know what? I keep looking on my feed on social media and every day somebody is saying that somebody passed away or they're saying, you know, like, I miss you. It's the anniversary of your death or it was your birthday or, hey, Chris, all this stuff. So it really made me think, well, I want to help people, right? So I went from like basically about to drop out of college, like just doing horrible to now I became the nurse. I did all the things. I'm writing 2 books. I have the 2 podcasts. I'm doing all these things and the life coaching and stuff. And that doesn't mean that I'm perfect and I don't have bad days or I figured out everything. No, I don't think anybody has figured out everything. Just saying, no offense to anybody. But I continue to grow and I continue to learn and I continue to help people. And I feel like since I was little, that has been my purpose. Right. And so that's what I said with the whole nursing thing. I love being a nurse and I love to help people. But I think at this point in the next couple of years, I want to transition to just doing all the other things that I'm doing. You know, I'm going to continue to write books. I'm going to talk about my one book in a minute. and I'm going to make it a series. I'm really excited about that. I would love to make it a movie eventually, or a show like on Disney, because it's a kid's book, a series. But anyway, so I will talk about that here shortly. But the whole point is that as you learn and grow, share what you know, share what you learn, and then you can help others as well. And like I said, I think that's always been my purpose, is to do that. So, all right. Most of you know, and I just talked about it a little bit, that my brother passed away at 26 years old. And some people still don't know how he passed away. I'm talking about like a lot of people don't know. And I don't ever talk about stuff to hurt anybody. So he has a daughter who is amazing. And I didn't talk about how he died for a long time. And in respect of my parents and her and anybody else. But then it got to the point where it was like, I need to heal. Okay. And so I want to also help people. There's so many people that have suicidal thoughts or ideations, or have had a plan or have attempted suicide, and now they're here still, thank goodness, and they are trying to figure out what their purpose is. So, and everybody has a purpose, okay? You're here for a reason. So my brother committing suicide isn't who my brother was. That's just part of like the story. That's the end part of the story, unfortunately. But he was so many amazing things. So this book that I'm writing, my second book, I started a book already, and I talked to a psychic medium, okay, in a group, and she gave me a message from my brother. So my brother gave me a message, and he wanted me to help junior high schoolers and all this stuff. And she's talking, and I was like, oh, wow. So I have ideas now. And if you know or knew my brother, he had OCD really bad. Okay. So this book is in honor of my brother. It is not his story. It is a fiction story. It is fun. It is serious. It is fun. It is silly. It's a little not gory, but it's a kid's upper middle fiction book. Okay. So there's a lot of twists and turns. It's exciting. It's a lot of things, but the whole purpose of it is to bring awareness to OCD and different mental health disorders, and to honor my brother and to help. So there's lots of information. There is fun stuff. There's silly stuff. There's really made up stuff. And there's really important facts in there. So it's kind of like all a mixture. And I am very, very excited about this book and what impact it's going to make on people. And eventually I want to get more into public speaking. I've already done some, but I want to start talking at schools and middle schools, especially when I have the book in hand and can really read some of it and interact with the kids and stuff. So I'm really excited about what the future holds with that. As far as, let's see. So that book is supposed to be done soon. And I was kind of sick and under the weather for a week and a half. So that kind of delayed things, but it's going to be okay. I'm going to get it together. And the first book might not come out for like another year now, who knows? But the first book is my story. It's about the trauma and different things that's happened in my life, that some of it I allowed, some of it I couldn't control, and how I reacted and responded, and some also later on in the book is going to be some helpful information and things that you can do if you are grieving or have PTSD or, healing from trauma, whatever. So those are those things. And I am beyond excited about that. Also, I am putting together I don't want to say a panel, but of some kids and a few parents. If you want to be involved, let me know. That I'm going to read whatever I have so far in the book and trying to get a feel of how they do. So it's up in the air of what age range it's going to be for. It's either going to be for 10 to 12, 13-ish or young adults. So I want to get kind of like a panel to see which age range would be appropriate. So if your kids want to be involved and listen on Zoom, that would be great. And parents definitely are welcome. I want parents' opinions as well. So that's one thing. Another thing is that I am doing something awesome too. I don't have a nonprofit yet, which I will one day, hopefully next year. But my mother and I and my daughter are going to do and we don't have like really a name for it yet, where we're going to do a little event for kids that cannot afford either dresses or hopefully tux. I only have one tux so far for prom. So that's going to be probably in February. Everything's early down here in the South. So in the Atlanta area, I don't know if it's going to be in the county that I live, which is Cobb County in Georgia, or if it's going to be in the Atlanta area. If you have a venue that you will be so gracious as to let us use, and you will be listed as a sponsor or contributor or whatever, that would be great. Or if you have one that you can discount for me, that would be great as well. I want it to be fun. So my friend said that she knows a DJ. So if anybody wants to volunteer any of their time or charge me really, really cheap because I'm doing this by myself with my mom, or if you have any dresses you would like to donate, any costume jewelry you would like to donate, any shoes you don't wear anymore, any dress shirts or suits or anything for men, ties, bow ties, whatever, that would be so great. Or if you want to sell them to me for cheap again. I have some dresses, and that's what sparked that. We were doing a yard sale, community yard sale, and it got to the point where people loved the dresses. They're huge, big, huge ones. I love, they're beautiful. And this one lady was amazing, and she was asking me about the little kids' dresses. And because of the photography studio, I have a lot of staff because the models and the kids, and I would let my clients use whatever they wanted. And she said she was going to donate to Guatemala, where she's from, and send the dresses to people for free. I'm like, that is so sweet. So I donated a few of them. And I said, go ahead, give this to Guatemala. She's like, I was like, go ahead and send these ones. And she said, thank you so much. And so at the end of it, starting to put stuff away. And I said, oh my gosh, I need to do that. So I'm really excited. I'm going to have stuff like not fancy ones, but like some press on nails that you don't need glue for. They just automatic. Like if a girl couldn't afford to get their nails done. Like I said, some jewelry, even if you have like old cufflinks, if you want to donate for boys, whatever you feel like is appropriate. And you can either sell me for cheap and ship it if you're far, or if I meet you, if you're local, or if you want to donate. you might be able to write it off. I'll have to look that up because I'm not a nonprofit yet, but I will check. So I really, really appreciate that. It will be like a big, huge thing. Like I said, I want entertainment, fun, all that stuff. I'll have some makeup palettes they can take with them for free and all that stuff. I just want the kids to have a great experience. And I have a whole bunch of heels. I don't know if they'll want them or if that's the right size, but I have a whole big tote of heels. So the girls can, also if you have any like dress bags, like purses and different things that would go for prom, that would be great as well. So I have some stuff. I need to build up my closet, but I have a lot of stuff that I've gotten for females. And I only have one lonely tux. Oh man. It's a nice tux though. It's a real tux. Nice shiny tux. I don't know who's gonna fit. That's the hard thing with men. It's like, jacket size could be way different than the pants size. So that's different. But they will have, wherever the venue is, I need somewhere for people to change. So it has to have access to like either dressing room, bathrooms, whatever, where kids could go in and try stuff on. Okay. So super excited about that. My daughter is really excited. McKenna is 10 and she's excited. And my mom's going to be involved, like I said. So also, my little girl, I forgot to say that, my daughter McKenna is helping me write the book. So she's going to be a co-author at her young age. So I'm so excited about that. Also, a big announcement. We are starting a new podcast. Number tres or drei or trois or three. So that one is going to be for kids or parents. So it's going to be basically anything you wish you would have known or something that can help parents from babies to up. Talking about 20s, whatever. Because you're always a parent. And we're going to talk about all those things. So I'm really excited. And McKenna will be the co-host. So we'll be McKenna and I. We will be interviewing children as well as adults and teachers, any educators, doctors, anything like authors, entrepreneurs, anything that can help. So really, really excited about that. It's going to be so fun. And she is so good with thinking of questions and she's so mature. I'm so proud of her. She is doing amazing. And it's going to be a really fun experience for McKenna and I. So let's see. Any questions? Anybody have a question? Anybody? All right. So if there are no questions, I'm going to make the last. Oh, Lauren. Hi, honey. I'm going to make the last announcement. All right. So I talked about a lot. I always do. Real quick before I do that, if anybody would like to be a guest on Turning Trauma to Triumph, if you have an amazing story, Lauren has an amazing story, by the way, I'm not trying to put her out there. But if anybody wants to come and talk about anything with grief, trauma, dealing with anything, anxiety, depression, anything that can help the audience cope and heal, please feel free to email me at authenticpointsofview@gmail.com. And I would love to have you on. Okay. So because I'm adding another podcast, I will be taking a break from this one, which breaks my heart, but I have had it for, like I said, a year and almost a half. And I really Cannot do 3. It's too much. Trying to write the books and trying to do that and the coaching and the this and the that. It's a lot. And nurse and all that stuff. So if you're subscribed to me, please subscribe to the other show as well. And then there'll be announcement about the newest one. But if you are subscribed to me, you will see if I put another episode out for Authentic Points of View. I plan on doing one in December. It's just not going to be consistent anymore. So I'm not going to say I'm not saying I'm like quitting Authentic Points of View. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to be probably doing it monthly. It's really hard for me by myself to keep up with all of this. The other podcast is once a week, just like this one used to be. And finding all the guests myself, emailing back and forth, scheduling everybody, interviewing everybody, editing all of them, posting them every week. It is a lot, like a lot. Okay. And so adding this new one for McKenna and I, we might only start it off once or twice a month because again, it's a lot. And so I enjoy it and I love it. And I love you guys for listening to me go on and on, and on every month on this one and every week before that. And I really appreciate it. Like, it really means the world to me that people are invested in me so much in my guests that they would tune in every week. And now, like I said, it's once a month, but I really appreciate you. I love you guys. I think you're so awesome. And engage, you can always write me. I have a pod page for each of the podcast. So it's www. I can't ever talk, sorry. Pod page, PODPAGE / Authentic Points of View podcast, or www.podpage / turning trauma to triumph. You can message me on there, even though you have my email, so you could just email me. You can write reviews. You can suggest things. You can fill out a guest intake form. You can do all these cool things. It's awesome. I also have a website. So my website is for my life coaching. And so that website is also awesome. It gives you access to free information. When I say free, I mean you click on the links and you have free information on grief, on trauma, on depression, on anxiety, on building relationships, on career stuff. I mean, it's insane how much information is on there for free. I absolutely love it. I think it's amazing. I love that website and that it just came with all that information. You are free to go look at it at any time you want. I mean, I don't even need to know you were on there. You don't have to hire me if you don't want to. I would love you to, but you don't have to. You could just go look at the information for free. I actually just pulled it up. It's under links and resources. Okay. You probably can't see. No, kinda. Anyway, it's under links and resources. And the website is my.coachingwebsites.com. And then I think / Danielle Boer, I believe. Wish I could pull up I'm so sorry. Workplace solutions, shame and guilt, motivation, loss and grief, intimacy, family mediation, getting unstuck, health and well-being, depression, creativity, couples, conflict resolution, communication skills, career and job searching, balance, anxiety. I mean, amazing information. Let's see. I'm trying to see what to copy the link. Okay. Well, now, what is the link? Sorry, I know I'm live, everybody. If you don't know me by now, you should know that I'm silly. Open an external browser. I am really trying to figure out how to tell you what this website is. Let's see. It just says my coaching website.com. Okay, good times. Like I said, I think that's what it is my.coachingwebsites.com and then like / Danielle Boer, I believe. I think. But anyway, so there's that. Trying to think if there's anything else I can tell you. What else is going on? Okay, so it is my.coachingwebsites.com /sites / DanielleBoerLifeCoach.com. There you go. That is a lot. Okay. Let's see. Anything else there's so much. Oh yeah, I was on a game show. I talked about that. That was sweet. Awesome times. I had a blast. It's called Who the Bleep Is That? Oh, you can follow me. We talked about this so many times, and I talk about it in all the episodes. Well, not all of them, but you can follow me on social media. If you are watching, you are on social media. So Danielle Boer. I got verified on both Instagram and Facebook. So they made me change my name on Facebook to K, because that's has to be part of your first name, which is really crazy because then people will be like, hey, K, and I don't go by K. But anyways, K Danielle Boer Stroman, I think. So you can find me still, Danielle Boer. All right. And then Danielle Boer 82 is my Instagram, but I also have a coaching one. So Authentic Points of View Life Coaching, that's on Instagram. Authentic Points of View podcast on Instagram. I gave you the life coaching one. I mean, that's a lot of ways to reach me, guys. If you need anything. Like I said, if you're interested in the life coaching, I have individualized and I have the group coaching coming up, and I'm going to do it every maybe 3 or 4 months. And then you get a free consultation. So if you think, I don't know if this is a great fit, guess what? Find out for free for an hour, risk free. It's not going to hurt unless I'm that annoying. Just joking. That you're like, oh, this is painful. But I promise you, you will learn something in that hour that you can help and implement in your life. Okay. So talk to me if you need any coaching, like I said, 50 times, or if you want to be a guest on Turning Trauma to Triumph, or on the new one, once it comes out, let me know. And then I will keep you updated on information about my children's book. My goal, this is a very, very aggressive goal, is to have it published by the end of the year. I had the goal to finish it by my brother's birthday, which he would have been 40 this year. on November the 8th. That is very, very soon. Okay. And so I am trying my very best to meet that goal. And I'm really excited about where the book has gone. So if you want to be part of that, like I said, the panel to listen to whatever I have of the book so far and let me know your opinion, you will sign a non-disclosure, but that doesn't hurt. And then you will get a free signed copy of the book when it comes out. So if you want to be part of that, if you want to help with any of the prom stuff, if you want to volunteer and help physically at the event, or if you have any things you want to donate or sell me for cheap, I am not trying to get handouts. I'm just saying it's a lot to organize stuff. So I can buy things, but slowly in moderation. So if you have anything that you want to sell for cheap or whatever, or donate, please let me know about that. If you want to be a guest on the show, let me know about that. Email me at authenticpointsofview@gmail.com. Message me on the social medias, pod page, whatever you want to do. There's so many ways to reach Danielle, like a million. And that's about it. Yeah. So I thank you so much for watching and listening. Thank you for being loyal and always tuning in. I love you guys. Literally, when I post it like at 12 or 1 in the morning Eastern time, people will be downloading it right away. Like I can get out of it and go back in within a few minutes, and people have already downloaded it. So thank you so much for your support. And anything I post, you can like and share it. You can follow me, you can subscribe to me, and hopefully we can help change the world together and make it more positive. And always know this, that you are not alone. Okay. If you are going through something right now, please don't isolate yourself and try to do it alone. Please find somebody you can talk to, that you can trust, that loves you. Or even if you talk to a stranger, just don't hold it in. Okay. Know that you are worthy and you are here because you have a purpose. I love you. You are loved and you got this. No matter what you're going through, you got this. I know it's hard. I've been through so much stuff where I just wanted to give up, but I'm so grateful that I didn't. Right. And I talk to amazing people every day that say the same thing. So no matter what you are going through, you got this. Okay. So I'm going to leave with this. Don't ever give up, because you got this. If you quit, think of all the opportunities that you could miss. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. And like I said, you're amazing. Okay. So please go share your authentic point of view and have a fantastic day.